Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Night, the crypto investor channel. I'm Boris, so let's dive in. I'm with Colton today. Hello Colton.
Hey Boris, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the Crypto Night channel, everyone. Today we'll be talking about Solana. So let's dive right in. What is Solana, and can you give us a little synopsis of the project, Boris?
Solana is an L1 blockchain, and they do things slightly differently. First of all, their main goal is to enable dApps, development without any performance issues. And one thing that sets them slightly apart is they use both a proof of history, which is a timestamp system for ordered transactions, and also a proof of stake, which is a consensus algorithm for security. So they use both. The design goal is to sub-second settlements to make sure that the costs are very low, and that they also make transactions very, very fast. SOL, S-O-L, is the native token, and it's being used, of course, for validations on the network, so people can either stake or delegate to validators, and that's, of course, for the network security. But it is also used for transaction fees, for smart contract payments, and of course can be traded on exchanges because it is a big project. It's number 10 on the CoinGecko list. It can be used as collateral for loans and for liquidity in pools.
Awesome. Thank you for that information there, Boris. What about the history and performance of Solana?
So it was founded by Anatoly Yakovenko in late 2017. And at first, they were only a proof of history. So it's a technique to automate transactions order, and this really helps scalability. They raised $20 million from private token sales back in April 2018. That took place all the way through July 2019. Then they incentivized the public with the testnet to, of course, put the product through some testing in Q3 2020. And then by March 2020, they also launched the mainnet beta. And for all the ongoing development, Solana Labs and foundations are the one driving the progress. The token, it went way up during the last bull run. So back in November 2021, it reached almost $260 per coin. Today, it's sitting around $21.50. The lowest price was back in May 2020, and it was 50 cents. So you can imagine those that were lucky enough to buy at 50 cents and could sell a year and a half later at $259. So that basically is a 518x if you had bought at the all-time low and sold at the all-time high, which of course rarely happens. The market cap is currently $8.4 billion. The total supply of coins currently is half a billion, slightly over half a billion coins. The current circulating supply is 408 million. However, they do have no max supply, but they do have a inflation mechanism in place, which is reducing over time. And we'll go explain a little bit more about this on the staking part.
Thank you, Boris. What about the on-chain data for Solana, and how does it compare to Ethereum for the past month?
Lately, Solana has been doing a little bit of ping pong, First of all, last year they dropped quite a bit, all the way down to about $8. And the main reason was that FTX was a big proponent of Solana, and they were buying a lot of coins. So of course that pumped Solana tremendously during the bull run. That's why it reached $259. Now, after the whole debacle of FTX, people started being concerned, how is Solana going to be able to finance themselves? So they dropped, but then they rebounded quite a bit because by January of this year, of 2023, they actually came back up to $26, $27, and then they've been doing some up and downs. Back in June, they dropped back down to around $13, and now they're come back to around 21.50 is currently the price. One of the main things that's hurt them lately is the SEC's claim that Solana is being a security in the action lawsuit that they filed against Coinbase and also the one against Binance. The staking, however, remained stable in Q2, while the average validators decreased by about 21%. The Solana Foundation also sustained the ecosystem investment. They made some convertible grants and they created a $10 million AI fund. Some major development on the product, which also helps when people see a lot of activities from developers. So overall, we see that in Q2 2022, they had 325,000 daily unique fee payers, and that decreased every quarter until it finally rebounded in Q2 of 2023. Now it's coming back up, which is definitely a good sign. Also, the average daily transactions, which are not voting transactions, they are up from 20 million up to 24 million in a year's time. So it's a 20% increase. Also, their quarterly revenue is up. It was 165,000 a year ago, and it is now 289,000. The number of validators went up, but then kept back down. It's roughly at the same level that it was a year ago. And the average engaged staking is slightly lower. It was at 76%. Now it's at 71%. So there's been some key events, that took place. We saw, first of all, the state compression introduced, direct NFT mints, convertible grants that were announced, the Helium migration, the AI grants that was announced, the ChatGPT plugin, the Fire Dancers, the V1.14 upgrade, and then of course some negative news with the SEC allegations on those two cases, and then Robinhood follow suit with delisting Solana because they are US based. One big thing that's important also with Solana is the public. The general public is one of the main holders of the coin, with about almost 46% being owned by the public. The team only owns 23% and investor owns about 11%. That's important because lots of projects, sometimes they're owned by just a few key people, and then you have the risk of rug pulls, or sometimes it is owned by investors or VCs, investment banking. The problem is it's dangerous because if they are the major bag holders and they decide to dump, you're going to be taken with it and you won't be able to do anything about that. So that's one thing that makes Solana a better project than a lot of others on that particular aspect. Now, on the real volume over the past month, pretty much the month of August, which is of course a slower month than most others, is that the real volume of Solana is down by 42%, while Ethereum is up 61%. The Solana market dominance is slightly down around 5.88% versus 0.4% for Ethereum. The volatility is around negative 39.5% for Solana compared to negative 20% for Ethereum.
Thank you, Boris. What about the latest news and development for Solana?
So one of the huge things that they announced the other day is the Solana Pay with Shopify as a new payment option on Shopify. The cool thing about Solana Pay is that it eliminates bank fees, chargebacks, holding times, etc. Everything is done immediately and settled in USD stablecoins on Solana. So USDC or USDT. Now, on a bit of a bad news, the Solana-based Clockwork project is to shutter. And they said that they're only seeing, limited commercial upside. So as of October 31st, they will shut down the key infrastructure. And they had raised $4 million from the seed round to try to develop this project. So of course, that's never great to see a project actually stop, even though they had raised a decent amount of money. Another thing that's important to note is that Solana's Galaxy score ranked them second among the cryptos, that it's really indicating that it has a strong potential for price increase, and mainly over the next 2 years during the next bull market. Another thing that's a good sign is the social engagement has rose by almost 40%, and the bullish sentiment has increased by 10%, while the bearish sentiment has decreased by over 20%. The last thing to note is that Solana had ran into a few problems, and they had to shut down about 5-6 times over the past year and a half. And since the last one, which happened about 6 months ago, it seems that they may have finally resolved some of their problems, and we haven't seen any more shutdown of the blockchain. So stability is always a major concern in blockchains, and Solana seems to have resolved that problem. And the last thing that's important to note is that over the past few months, they've been doing some different testing, doing as much as 1 million transactions per second on the Solana blockchain to try to really see how fast this thing can go. And so that seems very promising, because if they can reach gigantic numbers of transactions per second, that pretty much means that they can handle anything.
Thank you, Boris. What about staking? Can you stake Solana, and where's the best place to get your best return on investment?
Yes, you can stake with Solana directly, and usually you're going to get about 6.5% to 7%. And you can do that, of course, using your favorite cold wallet, preferably cold wallet would be better than a hot wallet. But I was talking about the inflation earlier, and the initial annual inflation rate is 8%, and that is reducing by 15% annually. So you take 8% and you remove 15% of that every year, and then it will stabilize at a 1.5% rate annually. That's why it's an infinite supply, but on the tokenomics, it's decent enough that 1.5% annually is not a crazy number. And the staking roughly helps you with that inflation. It combats that inflation for you, because it's roughly growing by the same number that you're receiving in your staking. Now, the problem with projects that have too high of an inflation is always that obviously if too many tokens are being released, the price is either going to flatline or it's going to decrease. So that's why you always have to be careful on the staking of the coins, and don't be blinded by the percentage that you're getting. Check out the tokenomics to see if it is better than the inflation.
Oh, thank you, Boris. What about the price prediction? Do you really see Solana hitting a 15x in the next 7 years or so?
Yeah, it could be even slightly better than that, but definitely there's a strong chance that they reach some very good numbers. By next year, they could be along the lines of about $45 to $50 in 2024. By 2026, they could reach close to $100 a coin. By 2028, $200 a coin, and then eventually $400 a coin. Now, the thing to note is that Raoul Pal, who's pretty well known, in the crypto world, his prediction is around $400 actually for this coming bull run. He thinks that Solana will reach $400. That's his target. So I think between 200 to 400 over the next bull run is highly possible. So that's it for today. Thank you, Colton. Thank you, everyone. And we look forward to see you on the next Kryptonite video. I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And if you like the video at the end, click on the thumbs up.